Hi, everyone. So I recently posted a short. I don't like that word as a noun, short, unless I'm talking about circumcised pants. I recently posted a circumcised pants length video where I said writers who use AI are not writers at all. I mean, that seems self-evident, but all it does is exclude people. It says who writers aren't. It doesn't say who writers are. And that's a question I've been interested in for at least 11 years, if not longer, as evidenced by the passage I'm about to read. So I'm 44 now. When I was 33, I published my first book, and in it there's this in chapter 16 where I tried to define the criteria that have to be met for someone to refer to themselves as a writer. I must be able to find at least 2 books you've written in the last 5 years currently sitting on shelves at Barnes and Noble. If you're a columnist attempting to conserve syllables by calling yourself a writer, you must have reported annual earnings of over $60,000 in each of the last 4 years. If you're a salaried medical writer, you have to say medical writer. This cannot be abbreviated to writer. So that's what I said then. I was writing that in a different time. And I was commenting on the time, Barnes and Noble and whatever. And even I feel like I missed the mark at the time. But if I got it perfectly back then, again, I don't feel like I did, but even if I did, it wouldn't map onto today, because today is so different because of the advent of AI and AI generating people's words, their sentences. And again, anyone who does that, absolutely they're not a writer because they're not the ones doing the writing. Maybe they're an editor, whatever AI spits out, they're doing some cursory edit, or more likely they're just curators, AI is generating art and images and all, and they're sort of overseeing whatever. I would just call them plagiarists, but at best they're publishers. It's a very pragmatic task of seeing a product through to its dissemination, but that's not artistry. Pragmatism is not artistry. Oscar Wilde said of publishers that they're just useful middlemen. I thought that's the best description. But even for people who do all they're writing themselves with their own brains and minds, and whatever, are generating all the sentences, what makes them a writer? I don't know. Oscar Wilde had a good line in Maxims. He had this aphorism where he said something like, in the old days, books were written by men of letters and read by the public. Nowadays, books are written by the public and read by nobody. And so it feels like more descriptive of today than 1894, but maybe readership, the audience says something about whether someone is a writer. Or you just can't call yourself that. Elsewhere in my book, I said things like maverick and statesman and guru. There's a bunch of words, leader and rebel, that you just can't call yourself. So maybe this is one of those. It has to be a point. It's an honorific that has to be assigned to you. But that's all I have. I hope we all survive for another 11 years so we can have this conversation again.